Hey, welcome back. Who's ready to write episode 9? I am. I am. It is 9 a.m. right now. I am supposed to be at work right now, but my car is currently buried and stuck in the driveway because of all the snow that dropped last night. So I ended up calling out of work today, which is not ideal, but also it means I get to write. I get to have extra time to write today, and that is great because that puts me on track to potentially crush my goals. If you don't know who I am, my name is Colton Woods. I'm the creator of Strange Trails, a full cast audio drama in the style of Serial. The first season is available for free on any podcast platform if you would like to listen. This channel is my journey towards season 2 and writing the novelizations of each of the successive seasons so that there will be a book version available as each season comes out from now on. Currently, I'm working on book 4, which is the novelization of season 4, and we're about to start episode 9, or in the book, chapter 9. Each of the chapters is going to be subdivided into different scenes, so it's like, I say chapter 9, but it's like closer to, chapter 40 or whatever in the actual book. Currently, we're sitting at 98,717 words, which means, yes, today we are going to hit 100,000 words. 100,000 words. 100,000 words. That's insane. And we're going to cross that today for sure. And probably go pretty far beyond that because my goal is to do about out of 61 pages in episode 9. My goal is to get to page 37 by the end of today because that's where like the nearest scene break is without being like not nearly enough done for the day to feel accomplished. But that means from now on, I could probably just do like 20 pages a day and still finish the book by Sunday. Today could be the last long day of writing, the last really long day of writing. And why not make it that? It's an extra writing day anyway. Like this wasn't meant to be, I wasn't meant to have this much time to write today, so I might as well take advantage of that. So I'm going to work on that and we're going to hit 100,000 words. Let's make it happen. Okay, check-in time. It's 11:30. I just finished the first scene that I was working on. Currently sitting at page 20 of 37 for today's goal. So I only have like 17 pages left to do today, which is amazing because it's still before noon, which is kind of crazy. I definitely think that I'll be able to get it done in a reasonable time today. So we're sitting at 3,500 words written so far today and 100,000 words written overall. We are crushing this. This has been a really fun scene because it's as now that I'm at the end of the season, basically every scene is ensemble. And so all the characters are there. It does make it a little difficult, I'll say, writing these types of scenes when you have a perspective character, because I decided that I was going to try to have more clear point of view stuff for the characters this time. And so when that point of view character isn't really like the main focus of the scene for the entirety of the scene, they have like their moment, which is usually how I write these things. Like I don't just like make the whole scene about one character usually. Generally it kind of like alternates and they switch topics and different things come up and they talk about every character's sort of interests and storyline at different points throughout the scene, just depending on what's needed for the story. So it is a little difficult to have a point of view character who's not really involved in that aspect of whatever the topic of conversation is. And I don't want to be like doing like asterisk changing changing point of view and then asterisk again changing point of view back to this other, like that seems super clunky. So I kind of just pick one and stick with them for the entire scene, which is fine. But there are going to definitely be times where these huge ensemble scenes with like 8 or 9 characters are just going to have the point of view character kind of only interacting at certain moments. And maybe every now and then you kind of get a little glimpse into what they're thinking about stuff, but it's not going to be a heavy like first person type view where it's literally all filtered through their perspective on stuff, because it's just not necessary. And it feels like it would almost be clunkier to do that, to really like try to force, hey, this character is the one we're following in this scene, so no matter what happens, we're getting their reaction to every single thing. I don't know if that's really helpful. I think that will just kind of make things a little bit seem like contrived, like if it's like, oh, 100% we have to hear from this character anytime something comes up. I would kind of rather just have the character come up when they naturally come up in the conversation, and then we kind of hear from them in that moment. We get their perspective on things in that moment. And if they're not the focus of the conversation, let's not make it all about them. That's how I'm writing it. We'll see how it reads, but that's the way that I'm trying to do it right now. And if it really seems like it's not working, I guess I can adjust it. But currently, that's what I landed on, because when I'm doing these 20, 30 page scenes that are ensemble scenes, like, that one character cannot be the focus the entire time. It just, there's no way for that to happen in the way that the story is set up. So, and I wouldn't want that to happen anyway. If that doesn't work, I'm in a little bit of trouble if the way that I've been doing it doesn't work, because that's going to be a lot of rewriting certain parts. And I don't know exactly what that rewrite would look like, because again, I don't think that there is a better option than what I am currently doing. I just don't see it, one that feels like it will be smoother. Anyway, I'm halfway done with my writing. It's not even noon. We hit 100,000 words. Time to celebrate, time to relax, time to eat some lunch, and then take advantage of the rest of the day that I have off. All right, so it's later in the day, ready to take a little bit of a break. I'm up to page 33 of 37, which is just frankly amazing for today's goal, to be this close to it, and it's not even 4:30 yet. Like, that's awesome. I did reach a point where I have to add a new scene, and what's kind of interesting about this is it's made me think, like, going from a podcast with the scripts to a novel, what can I add? What can I bring to the story to make the novel sort of a unique experience, something where it is worth to, take the time re-experiencing the story outside of just like maybe enjoying the story as it is. And I think that stuff like this, like there's that scene in episode 1 that I added, like that ghost story, but I think that's also going to get added to the podcast, because I actually ended up really liking that. So I'll probably add that to the podcast. But this scene very specifically cannot be in the podcast, just for very specific story reasons. The recorder in the podcast is not working at this point in the story. They cannot have recorded this moment. So but in a novel, I don't have to worry about that. Like, we'll just actually get to follow the characters and we'll get to see what they're up to. So I'm going to write that a little bit later. I don't know how long it'll be and how long it'll take to do, because it's totally new. I haven't planned anything out for what that scene looks like. So I do want to just give myself some mental space to think it through and plan out what could happen, what realistically would happen during those moments, because I know that it is sort of vaguely described after the fact in one of the studio segments, but I don't necessarily think that does enough justice to what we could actually end up seeing. And I want to make sure I do it justice. Why not? So in the meantime, I'm going to work out. I'm going to get real tired. I'm going to eat something, probably watch something, and then I'm going to go back to writing, because I only have 4 more pages left of the stuff that I know I need to write today, plus however long this scene is. I mean, the scene could end up being just 2 pages long. I don't know. Or it could be, 3,000 words. Like, I have no idea, because I don't know what I'll come up with in the moment. But that is the plan for the rest of the day. Finish up those 4 pages plus whatever the scene is, and then call it there and relax and enjoy my snow day. Take advantage of the snow day. I think that I have officially taken advantage of the snow day. The fact that I'm already on page 33 out of 37 for today's goal, that's a huge amount of writing that I've done, and I'm still gonna go further. And it's not even the time that I would be writing yet. If I had worked today and come home right now, I still wouldn't have even started writing yet, because I would probably be working out right around now anyway. So I'm still very, very ahead of schedule, which is amazing. And I love that, because that means I probably will get to relax a bit later tonight watching some show or movie or whatever happens to come across the screen. 78 meters. I think that might be, no, I don't think that is. That is absolutely a personal best. And I don't know if I ever want to beat that. That was too much. That was a lot. 10 minutes of rowing will change your energy levels. I'll say that. Okay. I'm going to rest for a minute. And then it's time to lift things. Looking forward to it.
Step your right foot back. Stand tall, press. Return. Keep that moving. Now as you lower, think about power as you come back. Lower down. Keeping a good long spine. Proud chest. Keep it down. Now you are working your biceps, sure. But you're holding heavy dumbbells. Close your rings. See you next time.
That was a lot. That was a lot. I guess that means it's working, but that was a lot, okay? That was a lot. So, back to writing? Question mark? Okay. You know what I'm about to say. You know what I'm about to say. The writing is done. The writing is done. I finished not only 37 pages of writing today, which is just personal best as far as what I have done writing in a single day for this book, but I added the scene, and I actually really like how it turned out. There's like, it is interesting to come from a scene where this one I'm making up as I write it. It's interesting to be writing a brand new scene that did not exist as part of the script, because when I'm writing the scripts, I only focus on the actual dialogue, so I don't really have too much scene description there. And when I'm transferring that into novel form, it can be kind of difficult to work scene description into these scenes that already have the stuff, because again, the way that the script is set up is the dialogue, since it's an audio medium, the dialogue kind of does a lot of the heavy lifting. It describes, like the characters describe the things that they're seeing, stuff like that. So I'll go to write a piece of scene description, and it's not really necessary, because 2 lines later, a character is going to talk about that thing. And I can't just like cut that out, because it's like worked into the conversation. And so it would be weird if they just didn't mention it. So it's kind of tough sometimes to actually do, like I would argue that it is overall easier to go from writing a script to transferring that into a novel. I think overall that's easier. You're going to get a pretty solid first draft because the story already works, the dialogue already works. You can write it pretty quickly because you already have everything pretty much there. However, the one caveat, the one drawback is that you're just not going to be able to, you're going to have to find clever ways to work the scene description in if you already have it in the dialogue. You're going to have to either be cutting dialogue, changing dialogue, or just fully like finding new things to describe in the scene. And that can be pretty difficult. That's definitely something that has stuck out to me while doing this. And it became even more apparent while writing this brand new scene where there's so much scene description, because I got to go to a place that we have not seen in the show and describe it and just like actually get to be there. And I don't have to worry about like, I know that this character is going to say this thing in, a couple pages, and it's going to, be redundant to have described it here and then also have them talk about it there, because I was just making up the scene as I went, and I got to just have it flow naturally as prose first rather than dialogue first or script first, So that's definitely something that I've picked up on. And I don't know if there's like a good workaround to that. I think the ultimate answer is going to be just doing more passes of revisions, going back and being able to edit it so that it does have the scene description in the places that make sense to have it, and maybe not have it so much in places where it doesn't make sense. Like if, maybe you're going to find times where it is actually okay to just kind of have a whole moment of dialogue back and forth without too much interstitial stuff, because that's all it really needs. And the flow might be better that way too, because who knows? Or maybe it's an urgent scene where they're actually, you don't want to be slowing things down by doing scene description anyway. I don't know. That's a very general example, but that was something that was on my mind as I was writing that scene. So drum roll, please, for how many words I wrote today, which was 8,774 words in one day. And it is 8 p.m. right now. Technically, I could continue. I could keep writing. I don't want to do that, but I am about 40 pages into this script, and there's only about 20 pages left. So tomorrow, I feel fairly confident I'll be able to finish this chapter tomorrow, actually. So yeah, I'm in a pretty good spot. I always say that I'm always in a pretty good spot, but it's not for nothing. It's because I work fucking hard to stay in a good spot, because I was not sure going into January that I was going to be in this position. I genuinely thought that there was a chance this was going to have to extend into first week, second week of February, something like that. And now I have worked so hard every single day. I have pushed myself to write more than I necessarily want to, or more than I'm comfortable doing in one day, so that I can get to a point where I can finish writing this draft and then also have time to do like a quick read through of it. I'm not trying to get it to publishable material, because again, this book is not coming out until season 4 comes out, which is so far away timeline wise. But as long as it's in a reasonable state, I can always edit it later. I can always perfect it later. I just need it to be readable right now. And I think I will be able to do that because I worked hard to get there. Tomorrow, I will be finishing chapter 9. Oh my God. How did I forget to mention the total word count of the book? 107,491 words. How did I write that much in one day? How did I write that much overall? I don't know, but that's crazy. Little Colton, who was stapling together papers because he wanted to make a book and only managed to write about 3 paragraphs before he ran out of idea for the story. Like before that, Colton, knowing that I was able to write 107,000 words. And not only that, but that's not my first time doing that. Like I've done that multiple times at this point. Like I feel fairly confident I can hit that type of word count regularly with a story that comes together and makes sense and, has all these moments that people would be excited to experience. That's crazy. Little Colton would be so proud of himself. And I'm proud of myself for me, because little me isn't here anymore, or he's still there somewhere, but he's not at the forefront, So that's what I think about. Those are my thoughts. That's where I'm at. I'm going to relax. I'm going to watch Only Murders in the Building. I love that show, partially because it is a show about people making a podcast about murders. And I can't get enough of it. That's my reward for getting so far on the writing today. We get to start a new show, and it's going to be a show I know I'm going to like. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow for more writing. Okay. Time for more writing. Brand new day. Ready to dive in. Let's finish chapter 9. Let's do it. I'm on page 38 right now out of 61. Yesterday went really well, so maybe today will go well too, because I know that it is an exciting scene, and I know it's another ensemble scene, so I am excited to write it. And it's a lot of things happen. The reveals are happening. The action-y moments are happening. I don't have to add any new scenes today, so that much is good, and I'll be able to just kind of follow along with the script almost exactly, and just transfer it over and make it prose. Let's get into it. Okay, here we are. We're back. And guess what, bitch? Chapter 9 is done. It's done. I did it. I wrote 5,500 words today, wrapped up chapter 9, and we're ready to move into the finale. That's where we're at right now. That's amazing. I'm so happy that the chapter came together as quickly as it did. 2 days. 2 days. I wrote the entire chapter in 2 days. I haven't even finished editing the chapter 8 video yet. And now I'm basically going to be done with the chapter 9 video too. It's going to back up at, like, the whole point of doing these videos was that, oh, well, it'll be like maybe a video a week, a video every other week, something like that. And I can get to it when the time is right. But now it's like, I'm just finishing the video so quickly because I sort of decided that I want to do one video per chapter. I'm writing the chapters just too quickly. Yeah, I have to start separating out the files a little bit more neatly now, because I can't just grab all the video files because they'll be mixed up with each other. Writing this scene has been a lot of fun. Writing this last scene was a lot of fun because there's a character who first appears in season 3. And he's just kind of there to be an asshole. And I knew I had an idea of what I wanted to do with him down the road, but I didn't really know what to do with him in the meantime. And so my perception of him, having written a couple seasons with him, is just that he's kind of like a dumb asshole the entire time, and he's like never useful. But there was a scene today where, like, he actually was, like, they would not have gotten the information that they got if he had not been there. Like, the only way that the scene worked out in the character's favor is because he specifically was there, that this character was there, and that he had the history that he had. And I think that that's, I mean, again, this is like a thing that I came up with at some point and, like, genuinely forgot about. And so, I mean, I am a little bit like complimenting myself as a writer for putting that in there and making it like, oh yeah, this character does matter. You do need to keep this character around and don't just, like, ignore him. But it's also funny that I'm right now sort of discovering him as an audience member and seeing where this character goes in ways that I have forgotten about, because I do think that I wrote the character a little differently in season 5 than how he's played in season 4. So there might be some edits coming for season 5. It's possible. I'll have to see how it reads, as, like, how it flows together. But yeah, it's totally possible, because I feel like I wrote him, like, less useful in season 5 than he actually ended up being in season 4, and I would want him to be more useful each successive season. And it's mainly because, like, at that point, it's like, well, if the character's not useful, why don't you just get rid of him? Why do you even keep the character around? It's because I have, like, a long-term arc. A lot of the things, one of the beautiful things about writing a 9-season story and knowing that I have 9 seasons is that I can look at things on, like, this massive time scale. I don't have to, like, yes, of course, there are, like, the season-to-season arcs. There's stuff that you find out about in episode 1 of that season, and by episode 10 you're done. You know, we don't need to talk about it anymore, that type of stuff. But there is also stuff that is bubbling under for multiple seasons, and then it shows up in a big way later on. And I think that planning ahead and looking ahead like this allows me to have those moments, and I'm working toward, in season 6, having one of those moments specifically with this character. I think season 6 might actually be, like, this character's season. Very tentative, have not actually officially started planning yet, so I can't promise anything, but that's, like, I'm going in basically knowing what I want to do with this character. So in order to have that, though, you need to see these other times. And so in my view, when I think back on the seasons that he's been in, I'm like, oh, he's just kind of an asshole the whole time. But I don't know if he really is. Like, he definitely has that quality about him, but he's more useful than I thought he was. And so, and I'm saying this as I'm glad that he was not just a useless, like, making dumb comments the whole time kind of character. Like, he did have moments where you're like, okay, I see why you're here, and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're around. So yeah, ultimately, I'm just saying that I think I did a good job because no one else is going to tell me that. So I'll tell myself. But honestly, I got to call it here. Like, okay, well, before we do that, the book itself right now is sitting at 113,000 words. Come on. So that means, and the finale is like a 75-page script. So honestly, I am probably going to hit just below 130,000. I think that I will be like 128,000 128K. That's probably like, probably within a few hundred on either side of that would be that's my estimate right now. We'll see. It's just going to depend how some of those scenes play out when I actually go to write them. I'm feeling good about this idea, and I'm feeling really good about the progress. I definitely think I should be able to finish writing the entire book by this weekend, because I think I'll be able to start chapter 10 tomorrow morning before work. Friday night I get to write. Saturday I have all day to write. Sunday I have all day to write. I feel like I will push myself, because I know me. I'll push myself, and I will get this done by the end of the weekend, so that next week I have the entire week to read through and just do edits and stuff. I don't know what those videos will look like. Probably not as interesting, but because I'll be reading stuff that I just wrote, so I won't even really have necessarily any new comments to add in these talking head things. That's going to be it for this video. I'm feeling great about this, and I'm ready to dive in to the finale in the next video. I'll see you there.